All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of On Cycle. It's been a minute for us, and we are excited to be back to get into the new season this year. Robbie and I took a little time off to handle. Robbie's an educator. He's got stuff going on.
Busy time of the season all throughout May.
Yep.
You know?
Steven's getting ready to graduate high school, which I'm sure you guys know that now too. He's getting ready to move on to the Navy and do all his things. So we've been a little slow getting episodes out. So we thank you all for your patience as we move into this new season in 2025. We're officially 1 month out. We're recording this May 27th. You should be watching it sometime around May 30th. May 31st.
Right around the end of this
week,
month, right?
Yeah, right around the end of the month. We should be dropping this episode out. So if you're seeing us around that time, just know that this is, we are officially right now. We right now are 30 days out, and we're pretty excited about it. So we figured, why not do another episode? It's a good idea.
Yeah, right. Another one of our patented wild speculation episodes about the nature of what the season's going to kind of look like based on past experience and based on all of the available information that we can find about what drum corps are going to look like in the year 2025.
Yeah, I love nothing better than watching all the show stuff come out and go,
what's this going to be?
As you maybe if you haven't noticed, Robbie and I have some new face gear.
Perfect for stroking in deep thought when contemplating the nature of drum corps.
Finding information. That's right. I wonder what it could be. So
we figured we would use our supreme heightened powers of deduction and abstract reasoning for such an episode as this. So we can perfectly predict every single drum corps show.
Everything's going to happen.
To the minute of 2025.
I feel like a detective who's been on the force just a little bit too long.
Yeah. We're recreating the scene in my mind. I can see the drill now.
Dull the lights down.
Yeah.
What's going
I retreat to my mind palace.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into predictions, let's get into the good stuff. Not the good stuff. We'll call it the business part of the
the housekeeping.
The housekeeping stuff, right? So if you're not out there yet, you're not following us on Instagram, and you're not following us on YouTube and like and subscribing, make sure you go and hit that button. We just put up our Patreon 2 months ago. And I want to say special shout out to Luke Smirga. I always say his name wrong. Who was our very first Patreon supporter.
Yeah, truly one of the real ones out there.
The real guys. Right. Love you so much, Luke. We know you're going to watch this. And congratulations to you and your beautiful bride-to-be. Because in 2 weeks, you'll be married. So shout out.
Yeah, right.
June 6th,
basically,
right?
Yeah.
Well, are you going to that?
Basically a week. Yeah, I'm going.
Okay, me too. Yeah.
Nice.
We're all going to it. So,
we'll see you there, man.
So we'll see you there, buddy. And we're really excited for you. But I want to shout out to you, Luke. He's our first sponsor, and this is really. I went and took a minute and looked out there. Our Patreon is not just to fund us, but it is really the very first, as far as I can tell, crowdsourced individual voting scholarship program for DCI members. New members is coming in.
Yeah, to help with tuition.
To help with tuition and any other expenses, and maybe it grows into any other expenses as the time goes on, because there's always travel and things like that too. But right now we're trying to work forward to 2026 season. By dropping a donation and getting some things. So you can find us at our Patreon. It's probably right here in this little comment section right here. You can go there. It'll be in the comments, and it's like right here-ish on the screen. Great job. And great job, me in editing. And it's right there.
Good job.
Big brain stuff. Yeah. So feel free to go out there, check us out, see what it's all about. If you have questions, reach out. We'd love to talk to you. And if you don't listen, hey, here's the thing: if you don't have the funds to let us, to kind of support that in that way, you can always just click on that subscribe button and watch us right here, because every hour that you watch here is money that goes back to those people as well.
Or one of the best things, especially in a community as tight knit as drum corps, is to just share it out and go, hey, check out this episode, or check out this cool thing, or check out this Patreon, check out what these guys are doing. There's the more eyes on it, the more opportunities there are for someone to maybe hop on that Patreon and then give back to the drum corps community that we all love.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if it doesn't, the Patreon, remember, all the money that Robbie and I will eventually start to earn as you guys click on buttons and say like and thank you, will go back into that fund to help support those things too. Yeah. We do this for fun, not to make money, and we really just want to give back to the community as a whole. Yeah. So, So, okay, that's it. That's the business side. Now time for the fun stuff. Business. So,
all right. Yeah. So we should probably just full disclosure. We're using Flow Marching's excellent sort of curated list of like everything we know about shows, as well as just some of the stuff that we've seen on social media following, you know, almost every drum corps.
Right. Yeah.
that there
Because
is.
that's I think the On Cycle Instagram page follows every drum corps. I think, and if you're not, and if we aren't, let me know that we're not, and we'll go follow you. So
yeah. Hey, even before we get into the show announcement stuff, while we're talking about drum corps social media stuff, I want to just give a special shout out to a particular subsection on social media.
Okay.
Have you been seeing the Crossman baritone section?
No, I haven't.
They're insane. I don't know who gave them the green light to do whatever they want, but it's been lunacy.
I love that.
It's been top tier memes.
I love it.
And complete nonsense. And it's wonderful to behold. So if anyone is out there just wants to, it's not gonna be informative to what the show is gonna be. But it is truly off the walls.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there, check out the Crossman sort of like subsections. I believe it's the baritone section.
I would love. Maybe we'll see if we can figure out who's running that thing. We'll talk to Grace. Grace, if you're watching, which you probably aren't, because you're moved in already.
Yes, I would love that.
Grace is the assistant horn sergeant down
awesome
at Crossman. Yeah.
Excellent. We'll have to grab her after tour and ask her, talk to her about. On tour would be great, but like for a full episode after tour, talk to her about what that experience is like.
Yeah. That's been super cool. She did 2 years with us, and now she's doing her second year with Crossman.
Yeah.
So, and she is not a brass player.
Not a brass player originally.
She just loves the activity and is working hard and is reaping the benefits from
after my own heart. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
love it. So anyway, all right. So
all right, let's get into it. All right. So I think what we're going to start with, right, what we're going to do is sort of work bottom up.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to start actually with the home turf, right, with all age class, which, funny enough, I think probably actually has like the highest percentage of full-on show announcements out.
Absolutely, 100%.
Compared, we have not quite shifted. And I hope it stays this way personally. We have not quite shifted the blue coat style of wait until the very last attosecond before.
Reading's kind of like that to some extent. Like we haven't announced any of our show music. Just
it's funny. We do the title, we do the theme, and we give people hints at that. But then we hold the rest of it very close to the chest.
Yeah. Right. Uniforms and all that good stuff too. So. So we'll start alphabetically, I think, and we'll just go through it.
Yeah, we are using we're using the curated list that Flow Marching has provided of all the running show announcements as well as just stuff that we see online.
Right. Yeah. So you can go find it. It's just flowmarching.com, and I don't know what the header is.
Exactly. Just look up 2025 DCI show announcements. You'll find it.
Exactly. And then they update it regularly too. So every time somebody puts an announcement out, it gets updated.
Yeah. All right. So, very first one on here is one that I'm excited about because I love this core, right? Atlanta CV is doing this show called 10-6 or 10 over 6 or 10 10 over 6.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland, like Mad Hatter themed, basically. Yeah. What I've heard is it's almost like it's not like explicitly an Alice in Wonderland show. It's like exploring creativity and madness through the framing device of hat making. Or something like that.
Sure. So I'll just read the blurb here.
Yeah, go for it.
Welcome to our craft, a pursuit of passion, a pursuit of the impossible. Welcome to our madness. Right. Ooh, so great. So it's cool. I dig it.
I dig it. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun one. It feels super different from their show theme last year. Yeah. Which I appreciate that they're just like, let's try something completely new.
Yeah. Listen, I like shows like this because I feel like they're usually audience grabbers. Right.
Yeah.
Because you can be over the top artistic with it. They're great for members because you can really as a member, you can really chomp into something, a character.
Yeah. Right. It gives you a very easy idea and theme to grab onto.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, when you go to other chords and you're like, conceptualize the number 4. You're like, I don't know what to do
on
with that.
Tour the entire time at Blue Nights.
Right, exactly.
We had to have a meeting halfway through the summer to be like, what's the show about?
Yeah, right.
We've been performing it for 4 weeks now. What is it actually about?
Yeah. So this show seems very accessible from a member and hopefully, depending on how they design it and all that kind of good stuff, to an audience perspective too, to be able to really be pulled in and engaged by it. I think it'll be good.
And also, hopefully, there'll be another core wearing hats this year.
Ooh, good point.
Bring it back into fashion.
A lot of hats.
Has to be, right? Has to be.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a little bit with other cores that have already announced hats in different uniforms.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
All right, let's push forward because we know we're going to spend a lot of time talking about a few choice ones, but we don't want this to be like a 4-hour episode.
Yeah, it'll be forever, right?
All right,
next.
here's another. I'm gonna say this about almost every Ology Core, but like here's another one I'm excited about because they did a great season last season.
Yeah.
With Bush.
Yep.
This one does seem actually like a like a pretty high concept one.
Yeah.
The show is Where Do We Begin?
Ooh.
And it's got a very spacey. Yeah, life is it. They have a tagline that says, "Life is an endless series of new beginnings."
I kind of dig that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's like
very
the,
nebulous.
the awakening of like all the things.
Yeah, explores
know.
the very essence of creation and transformation.
I'm excited for it.
Very cool.
So I have my good friend John Herbert Malloy. Who I've mentioned several times before, but he never watches the show. John, I can't believe you.
Jeez.
Yeah, what a guy. Hall of Famer. The dude's great, but I love him to death so much. But yeah, he's down there teaching again this year, and he'll probably end up sitting on the sideline and just be a screamer because that's what he does. But
yeah, that's what he's done for the past decade.
Yeah, that's what he's done all the time, right? But if he's involved with it, I know the show's going to be good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they've announced their show rep, and we won't talk about everyone, but they have. I'm going to probably mispronounce this because it's like Swedish or something, but they have Buccaneers by the Swingles. It's Crown's closure from 2019.
Oh, okay.
I will be interested to see how they do it on the field because it is in 15-8. Yeah, it's basically alternating 4-4-7-8.
Oh,
so it's 1 2 3 4 1 and a 2 3 1. Like
yeah.
When Crown did it, they just marched. They would go one step. Like,
Yeah,
it was nuts.
Yeah.
But it's also a great piece.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see.
That's cool. There's a Stevie Wonder tune in there and the air waltz.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds good.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Cincinnati tradition. Cincinnatus, which seems it's a Roman themed show. I guess
totally cool. Like turn on words. I like a core that can take like part of who they are because they're Cincinnati, right? And just kind of like reorganize their name or do something like what they've done with this is Cincinnatus. Yeah, you know.
I mean, it seems like it's very inspired by like Gladiator, right? That kind of movie.
Right.
The program information is simply from fields of wheat to palaces of gold, a hero with a decision to make.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
sounds like a writing prompt.
Yeah, right.
But like, also I dig it.
Yeah.
It'll probably be cool.
I hope he goes evil. I hope it's
he's truly like scorched earth, chopping people's heads off.
Yeah. Like it's like what happens if from the movie Gladiator, like and Maximus Aurelius goes like bonkers and he's like, I'm not a good man.
That's it. Time to kill.
It's just time to kill, right? That's the decision he has to make, right? Is it just straight murder everybody?
Dark shows are in this year.
Yeah. I hope they are. I hope they come back.
I hope so. I love a good dark show.
Yeah, I like a good. They always do well. They always do, and they're always memorable every single time. Yeah. The hero doesn't always have to win. It's okay. It's a very Thanos-y kind of driven world.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Next one I don't know a ton about. Columbus Saints. Their one is Portrait.
Oh.
So I guess it's about reflective and expressive. Portrait is a show that examines how we view ourselves through paintings of us. As we admire the craft that the artist puts in, we also reflect on our insecurities as we cannot determine the difference between what is caricature and what is reality.
Ooh, that's kind of
feels very like Blue Devils-y and like a show about art and what it like a paint, the idea of a painting.
That's good. Yeah, very high concept kind of show.
Yeah.
It's like very ethereal, kind of out of the
Yeah,
mind,
although probably a little more. I would guess it's probably going to be more accessible than most Blue Devil shows about art.
That's because no Blue Devil shows are accessible. They're good.
Some of them are, but some of them are.
No, they're really not. They're really not.
Maybe for you.
Okay, you're right. Maybe it's just a me thing. Right? Cheers. I don't know.
Tons of rep from Columbus Saints. They're doing a lot of.
Is Adam
is
Adam Ben Ezra? Is that the lead singer of Better Than Ezra? Somebody tell me if that's correct or not.
The 90s.
Idea. You don't know who Better Than Ezra is? You would know one of their songs.
I'm sure
they were
they
a 1-2 hit wonder from the 90s. I can't even remember their one hit now. Sometimes I'm thinking about it because I'm just reading it. But yeah. I don't know. I'm probably wildly wrong.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
that
like, Ezra,
person.
that seems
better. Like, who else is named Ezra?
Yeah, there's no one else named Ezra.
Except for that guy who doesn't play the Flash anymore. Wasn't that his name?
Ezra Miller. Yeah, they've gone off the deep end a little bit.
Yeah, he lost a little bit. Anyway.
Baba
Yaga.
By Philip Lassiter. Fun.
That sounds cool. I don't know that piece.
Yeah, I don't know almost any of these pieces.
Listen,
looks fun though. I like when I look at a program map and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I like that because I will learn what the song is for the year and then completely forget about it and never remember it existed ever again. Not because of the core, but because I have the inability to remember anything when it comes to.
It's extremely true. I've seen it before.
You've seen it live in person. I don't know anything. I'm
never asked this man anything about show rap from a.
I'm terrible.
Yeah. If I say like, oh, this song from this year, you're like, oh, I know that one. But if I say, like,
if you just give me song titles and like, and they'll be like, remember the second song that this person played? I'm like, yeah, I remember that song. They're like, it's called that, and I'm like, oh, cool.
It's the first time I've ever heard that in my life before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've marched 18 shows and I can't remember any of the songs from any of the years I played. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
I marched in 2000. I marched the Planets, and it was one of my favorite pieces.
Oh, well,
so
that's such an easy one. It's the Planets,
and because I know my planets.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're like, look, there they are.
Are you still Team Pluto as a planet? Are you?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I like to be controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm personally. Who gives a shit?
Yes. What are we gonna hurt Pluto's feelings?
Yeah,
it's like
right?
3 billion miles away.
I think Pluto's smaller than our moon.
Yeah.
Be a real size or don't.
Yeah. Why don't you collide with some cosmic debris and get bigger?
Hit the gym, Pluto, and get bigger.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? All right.
All right. Next one up, Fusion Core, with the show Mended, which is about the Japanese art of kintsukuroi, which is that art where if a pot shatters, you mend it and like fill in the cracks with precious metal like gold.
That's cool.
Which is cool. I mean, it's a cool little evocative sort of visual thing to have. It gives you a nice, easy show theme. No rep announced yet, but I'm assuming it will be inspired by Eastern music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would assume kind of like
that.
what we did in 2016 with Concentric.
Yeah. I'm excited for Fusion to come out and do something. For those of you who don't know, Fusion Core just moved down to Florida.
Yeah, I was going to say this is their first year.
They're the first year down there, and I'm excited as a former Fusion Core member. I felt like the last few years of Fusion Core have got really, really small, and they kind of like I don't want to say they didn't fall apart. That's not what I want to say, but I think they lost some of the steam that they were building up through the mid.
Definitely.
Because when I was there, we had 40, 50 horn members. Like we were pretty.
Yeah, you were saying you were trying to fight for podium spots.
Yeah,
we were good scores and subsections.
We're very competitive, and I think the core directors, the family that kind of runs that core. They were in the middle of like retirement and kind of doing some other things too. And I think that they were just spending a lot of time trading time between Florida and New Jersey. And they were just having a hard time kind of like managing and keeping up with things, I think. So now that they're all in one place and that's where they are, I think that Fusion is going to build a very new home. I think they're going to be great down there. I think that
I hope so.
That family is going to give the attention and time to the organization that it deserves. And it's going to grow a new family down there. And the other thing I saw, there was a post from somebody. It was about... it was one of the indoor percussion groups, and it was like showing where all their indoor members are, and there's like a dozen people from that indoor group at Fusion right now. So
that's cool.
I was like, that's pretty cool. I saw a video from them. They have like 7, 8 snare drummers and like a full bat. They have a full battery.
That's awesome.
So it's great. Yeah, and they have probably they're growing in numbers and horn size. So they're doing good. So if you're looking for a place down in Florida to kind of get into, check out Fusion Core.
Because I obviously want to see Fusion Core get better and succeed.
Absolutely.
And also part of the benefit of DCI All Age being a thing is that we do get a little more of a fully national reach.
Yes, correct.
Right. Like in old DCA, a Florida Core, like what shows would they have done and gone to?
We had a
it would have
been
core. It's just hard though. It's so difficult.
They're so far away, right? And when you have Atlanta down there now too, and if another core in that Carolina,
southern
Georgia,
sort of region,
Florida could get together, maybe 1 or 2 more could start to build over the next decade. You could have a very, very nice little mini tour.
Yeah, exactly.
In
right.
that area.
In the same way that a lot of DCI cores will start off with like a California tour,
right?
Or like start off with a Midwest or Texas tour or something like that.
Yeah, we have no problem up in the Northeast because we already have so established.
So many of the big cores are
right. So we can do that. So like Cincinnati has been in Ohio have been a nice hub for like tradition and Minnesota Brass and all those guys. So this is going to be great. So I hope that more people follow down in the Florida area with Fusion and do some good things.
Yeah.
So all right, moving on.
We got a few more. Right, Buccaneers with their show Among Thieves.
I love the Govies, baby. Listen, if you haven't seen,
I know you talk about it.
Listen, I saw the Buccaneers put out their show theme. I think it was last week or a week ago or 2 weeks ago now. For those of you who haven't seen it or maybe you saw it, it's this really like off the wall kind of neat but like I don't want to call it low budget because it definitely was, but that's not like the vibe I got from it. I got a very like fun, kind of neat little vibe from the video they put up. If you haven't seen it, go to the Buccaneers, Facebook or Instagram or whatever they are, and see it. And it's just this guy like napping, and like people are like, this dude's in like hockey masks. They're like sneaking by, or backlavas, and they're coming by and they're like doing like it's all edited, and it's just silly.
One step away from having a big burlap sack with a money sign on it.
Yes, right? Exactly. It's neat and it's silly and it's really cool. So and I love me some Gubbies. So I'm excited to see what they do.
I love, especially smaller courses, being like, let's just have a fun, cheesy sort of show. Like our Melotech Dan was just talking over the weekend about like no one wants to do cheesy shows anymore.
Yeah, they're so good. Like where's
they're fun.
Where's VK at? Where are the Velvet Knights?
Where's Velvet Knights?
Yeah, we need to have cores like that. I think the all age platform is prime real estate for that kind of drum corps to exist and have a good time with it. Right? We would all love it. So anyway.
All right, Cabs, Hawthorne Caballeros. Not a lot of information other than a show title and graphic. The show, which is titled On the Edge.
Yeah, very cool.
The graphic that they got for it is kind of like Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah,
a little
it
bit.
kind of
Very
does
like
feel
Vertigo.
that way a little bit. Yeah, it
kind
does
of
feel that way. They had their uniform reveal.
Yes, just like
yesterday.
Yesterday, I think.
Yeah,
because we were talking about it a bit.
Yeah.
Cool looking uniforms.
Uniform.
I have always liked Cabs uniforms the past several years. I think they do a really good job of keeping it very obviously still Cabs, but changing it a little bit to fit the show theme, while still keeping some of the like traditional colors. Like they have red in it every time.
It doesn't feel like a costume for the show. It feels like a drum corps uniform with a modern flair to it.
Yeah, right. It feels really modern, but it feels more like what they were doing in like the 2010s, where every year they'd get a modified version of the classic uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Which I love.
I love it too.
I think most people prefer that.
I think they do too.
I'm gonna be real. I think this. I might be totally wrong. I'm sure lots of performers out there love having a totally new costume each year, but I think most of the push to have completely new costumes that have nothing to do with like the traditional look of the corps is mostly coming from the creators.
100%.
The show designers.
100% coming from the creative side of the house, right? To be more creative, and to fit what they're trying to design more into like a noticeable concept, right? Because we just don't.
And I almost feel like it's sometimes a little. This is maybe gonna bash on the egos of the creative minds behind it, but it almost feels like a whole like. We're different.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
We're not bound.
Yeah.
by the past.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yes.
We're not bound by that. We're gonna not be defined by it. And then in this sort of like Call of the Wild style exploration of what it means to escape the influence of something before you, you're like, are you just being bound by a different set of rules because you're telling yourself you're not gonna be bound by the previous ones, and you just
like
but
listen, I think there are two corps who do it exceptionally well. Right, one is the Cabs.
Cabs does it great.
They do it great every single year. You always know they're the Cabs. And the second one, and I hate to say it, is BD. They have
almost every year they've had the best uniforms.
Consistent. It's not about the best or the worst, because I don't think they've had the best every year, but
a lot of years. But even so, the most
extremely consistent. And
right.
it is, you
can tell it's BD every single time they walk out onto the field.
And for the most part, their uniform, I don't think really last year was probably the first year I felt like really
tried something different
showcased their show. Like they were in the Romantics, they had those big black capes and they had the little medallion on there. Every other show is just some creative version of their previous uniform, which I like. And there's pops of color or there's a hint of something from the show, and that's fine. But
last year they really did a good job of like exploring totally new territory while still like you said, looking like the Blue Devils. You could tell as soon as they walked out.
Yep. And so kudos to you, Cabs. You know I love you. I'm a Cab. Win, lose, or draw. We're all Caballeros.
Mm-hmm.
So like
I'm excited. I want to know more about their program.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm sure I can find all the information if you want.
I'm sure.
I won't tell you people out there, unfortunately, because I'm not one of those guys that's I can't lose my ins that I have all over the place.
Yeah.
All right. So
next
moving
up,
on.
The home team.
Yeah,
these chumps, Reading Buccaneers. We probably won't talk too much about it.
No, listen.
So because we can't let we know everything about the show, so we can't let something slip that is
that we're not
proprietary information.
Right.
But the show's on display. It's basically, it's sort of dystopian surveillance state.
Yeah,
right?
it's the idea of being watched. Yeah, we're on display. You know, always being looked at, always being
very
observed.
like Big Brother 1984 inspiration. It's not a 1984 show, but you know, you can tell clear inspiration from the sort of dystopian sort of literature.
Yeah.
And another dark show, right?
I think it's pretty dark.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, especially you listen to Paul and Nick talk about it.
Yeah.
Even in the public stuff that you can find about, you know, our show on like Drum Corps International's page.
Yeah.
They talk about wanting it to be, you know, a darker show.
About it. Speaking of the DCI page, too, the Cavs have been featured on there the last like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And well,
cool.
you know, DCI puts out like a little like video from last year about whatever's going on, and the Cavs have been on there. There's like 47,000 views on that post, and I'm like,
it's cool.
It's so cool.
I know.
For
I
us
love
in the all age activity.
I feel like we got. I mean, it makes sense, especially with this show that we had in 23 and being like defending champions and whatnot. We got a lot of attention as we were transitioning to DCI, and it felt really cool.
Yeah,
so I'm
great.
glad other corps, you know, other all age corps are getting a little bit of time in the spotlight, right? Because it's what they deserve. Because everyone's out there working, you know, hard, busting their asses, and it's just healthy for the activity, right?
Yeah.
Like the magnifying glass that DCI as an organization has, and the capacity to just put eyes on other corps it cannot be understated.
Yeah, no, it can't be.
You know?
The volume of reach towards young people and us old heads, and then even the older heads that are still enjoying the old heads that still like want to enjoy drum corps the way it used to be, the way it is right now versus the way it used to be, and you gotta hate it. So we're doing our show. Come out and see us. I'm sure you will at some point.
Friends and Family Day is June 14th.
June 14th, yeah. That'll be our first official public viewing of the field show.
Yeah.
I don't know that'll be the public. I mean, I guess we'll put out. I don't think we'll put out anything publicly on social media.
I mean, we never put out like a recording of it. I wonder.
No, I just mean like a
we'll
social media blast
show
or
rep
maybe
or something.
a uniform. I think in 23 because I was a model for the 23 uniform.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because you've seen the new uniforms, right?
I wore the uniform.
That's
the
right,
prototype, at least.
Yeah, the prototype.
I was the model.
Ooh.
Because I'm a medium.
Because you're the normal size of a human.
Yeah.
Unlike me, who is not the normal size.
Tearing out of it.
Ripping through those things.
It's comfy. It's much more comfy and actually like form fitting and lightweight than last year because it doesn't have a gimmick cape in it that completely restricts its functionality.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Cruising smoothly on, we got Rogue's Hollow Regiment with Britney Spears show apparently. Toxic.
Yeah. It does feel very Britney Spears-ish.
It feels kind of like Tim Burton-esque. Nightmare on Elm, Nightmare Before Christmas, kind of.
Yeah. That would be cool. You know, there's another corps doing Britney Spears this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. You on? Good Lord.
You good?
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't know where that came from. That was weird. There's another corps doing a Britney Spears song, a world-class corps. For
full disclosure, we don't actually know if Rogue's Hollow Regiment is doing a Britney Spears piece.
Yeah.
Wild speculation, though, and I can say with 100% accuracy.
We told you at the beginning, this is the wild speculation show. You know?
Yeah, right. So Britney Spears will be the...
She's actually a featured performer.
They
are an all-age corps. She is going to be there.
Yeah,
she will be
so
there.
look for Britney on the field.
Not sure if
summer.
you know this or not, but Britney Spears does live in Ohio. So
there's their 10th anniversary show and another dark show. Their blurb says they want to specifically deal with a little bit of darkness.
That's cool.
It'll be fun. I'm excited to see it.
You know what's neat is that they're only in their 10th year.
I know, right?
And
that's
crazy.
Crazy.
I feel like they've been around forever. Like I feel like I've been talking about Rogue's Hollow, and they've done so well. I think they've won.
They won some like their division.
They won an open class. DCI all age.
Awesome.
DCA
I think so.
open
Yeah,
class,
yeah.
I think like 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
I want to say that. Yeah, like 22 or something.
I think Cincinnati won last year. So I could be wrong. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But they're great.
Ooh. Okay, next one. Sunrisers. First off, the show is just called Move. Very cool graphic.
Yeah.
I like that graphic a lot. It looks very like professional, solid. The colors are cool. Gives some cool inspiration. And the 2 pieces of show rep they've got are great. So 2 pieces for 4 brothers. I don't know what that is, but it sounds neat. But it's like the same kind of show theme or the same kind of like title that it evokes as this other piece, which is Partita for 8 voices. Are you familiar with that one?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No, but maybe I am.
You are. Think back to a particular avant-garde music piece that you had very strong emotions about last year.
Oh my God. Is it a Blue Devils show?
No. It was one of the movements was our dance warm-up last year.
Oh, is it that one?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the breathing
Yeah,
thing? They're doing. Maybe they listen to us warm up, and we want to hate everything about our season 2.
we want to be searching for tempo. There's other movements of the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Like in Crown 2019, they do like the detail of the pattern is movement.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
voiceover. I'm pretty sure that's from a movement.
Oh, okay.
From that piece.
Okay.
It's a very cool, weird vocal piece. We happen to choose the one that has the least tempo.
Listen,
ever.
I I don't want you to think of shit on like that kind of stuff because I really enjoy very artistic expression of an expressive piece. Things that are very like movement oriented and all that kind of things. But I have to be in like it's time and place, right? I need to be in the mood for that, and I never feel like drum corps is the place for it personally.
It's really hard to when it's done well. It's done really cool.
Yes.
Like all the tilt music was by Tyonde Braxton, which is like a super weird avant-garde artist. But they found a way to translate it. They picked some pieces that were super relevant to the field show.
I think that's one thing.
All the Anna Meredith songs that Bluecoats have been doing recently, like Bump and Nautilus from 22 and 23.
Okay.
Weird pieces of music.
Yeah.
Right. But they found a way to arrange it and translate to the field in a way that really works.
That is always my thing. If you're going to pick a piece of music for a show, and it's going to be whatever you want it to be, right? Because creators are creators, right? And they think, they believe all the fun, things in their mind everybody else understands. I still think you have to translate it into a drum corps concept, right? We're on a drum corps field.
Yeah.
Right. It's like taking
it has to work for drum corps.
It's like taking a drum corps show and making it a Broadway musical. Like you can't
Blast.
just do that. Well, Blast you can do but it's still
they picked specific pieces. They weren't.
Like there are the pieces you connect to, but like you have to translate it in a way that makes sense, right? To the audience that you're offering it to, right? So, so they do it right. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see it.
All
right. Very last one for all age is White Sabers, which is doing
Isle of the Dead.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I mean,
cool.
Let's be real. It's a ghost pirate show.
Very cool.
Right?
What have we been asking for years? We want to do a pirate theme show.
Yeah, we've been asking for
never
space pirates for 5 years.
Paul, I know you're listening to this show, and I swear
specifically,
to you,
I specifically was like, I would love ghost pirates. I think ghost pirates would be cooler than space pirates, and here White Sabers is doing ghost pirates before us.
They're taking our thing. They heard us. If Reading Buccaneers creative staff, if you don't figure out a way to give us what we want, we're going to White Sabers.
Give us pirates, Nick.
Give us pirates.
We're all gonna go to White Sabers.
We're gonna drive 9 hours up to White Sabers so that we can do ghost pirate shows.
I'm excited. I always think White Sabers. I mean, their horn line's always on the smaller side.
I think they sound great though.
They always sound so good.
Yeah.
I remember I was just saying this to someone. I remember walking past White Sabers at finals warm-ups, and they would have like a 8-person trumpet section, and it sounded like an 18-person trumpet section. Yeah. It sounds super solid. They are great. They must have just a solid retention of membership and a great brass educational program over there.
So you don't remember these corps as much, or if you do remember them, they are corps by name that you remember. Was Empire Statesmen and Syracuse Brigadiers.
Statesman style,
right? And I was talking to somebody this weekend. I was talking in the feast this weekend, and we were talking about championships. And the Brigs won 4 championships in a row. They were the very first DCA three-peat. 60 years, and at that time it was probably 50 years, but in 99, 2000, 2001, they won the very first three-peat, right? And then they won again in 2002, awesome. And then Empire bookended both of those. So they were the dominant 2 corps for over a decade, between the 2 of them, and Empire was always good. And then all of a sudden, they just both kind of folded and went away, and White Sabers absorbed all of their people, their staff, and their creative concepts, and they kind of transitioned in that. And there was one year, not that long ago, I want to say it was 18 or 19, where White Sabers was just huge for no reason, right? They were just like, why do you have 50 horns, right?
Yeah, right.
It was out of nowhere, right?
I love it.
It was Empire. Empire had just officially folded, I think, the year or two before that, like officially, and everybody was like, let's go do one hurrah together, and we're going to go to White Sabers because they're right around the corner from each other. So I think that they've probably held on to a few of those people, or in some of maybe the staff and the creative concept there that's kind of still fueling that.
Yeah,
that
makes
activity
sense.
in that area.
Yeah.
So that's probably. And correct me if I'm wrong. My White Sabres friends out there.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends that teach up there and do some things. So
Yeah.
like if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, and tell me you're just great because you guys have new staff up there and you guys are just creating great members. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe.
So
it's a fun little bit of history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right. So that's all the all age that we've heard of so far.
The only people we're missing are Minnesota. We don't know what Minnesota's doing yet, and Northern Lights, we do know what they're doing, but for some reason it's not on the site.
I was just thinking about that. But they're doing their basically Dreams, sort of a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Kind of show.
Right. So
and they have their uniforms out, right? And they're very Freddy Krueger-esque.
Oh, did they put their uniforms out?
Tiago sent it in the chat, I think. It's like sort of skin tight, that sort of like the same shape as like Bushwhackers' uniform last year, but the black and red stripes like Freddy Krueger and some eyes like
that's kind of cool.
popping out.
That's pretty neat. So
it's
lots of dark shows this year.
Lots of dark shows. It's a good year for dark shows.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be an evil year. Yeah. You know,
I love it.
Love that. That's kind of cool.
Take us seriously, DCI.
We are moody teens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moody teens and old men.
Moody teens and old men.
So now, moving on, we'll probably spend the least amount of time on this.
On Open Class.
Both because we're the least familiar with the Open Class, I think it's fair to say. And also, we don't want this episode to run too long.
Yeah.
But so, 7th Regiment, they're doing an Atlantis show, which is neat. I like it. Just a nice, simple, story-based, genre-heavy show.
Yep.
They're doing Wine Dark Sea by John Mackey and Exit Music for a Film by Radiohead, which are both bangers.
Yeah, great tunes.
Certified.
Right.
I like 7th Regiment. I don't know why exactly, but
I feel like their vibe is always good.
Yeah.
For a small corps, right?
Right.
Because they never come out with a huge drum corps, right? They're always
they're just doing like we're just gonna do solid shows.
Yeah.
Try and keep it consistent.
I look at organizations like theirs, and the only thing that I can take from them, because I don't really know anybody from there, the only thing I could take out of that is that they must have a very, very dedicated administration to keep that corps alive, because they only ever have like 50 people in that corps. Total, between the guard, the horn line, and the drum line. They're a very small corps. So they must have, like I said, a very good, well-rounded, dedicated administrative team that is really focused on keeping that organization alive, which is what you need.
It's so unbelievably important. It's one of those things that I think people forget about a lot because it's not what you see on the field as an end product. Right? You see membership, you see member talent, you see the creative team and the effects of the teaching staff.
Right.
But the only way anyone gets rehearsal sites and staff who get paid and recruitment and
members
and transportation and anything is if they have a good administrative and support staff, right, who make everything run.
Yeah, and it's important. So they must have somebody great over there. And again, I don't know anybody from the organization, but I look at them every year and I go, okay, great.
Yeah.
You're doing something good over there. So now these are two I'm really excited about, and I will
Blue Devils BNC.
See, but listen, you know me. If you've watched the show long enough, I'm a Blue Devils. I don't want to say
certified hater. I mean,
Anyway,
Blue Devils critic.
I'm critical of the Blue Devils, right? But I always love BNC. I think that they're great organizations, and the one thing I love about the Blue Devils as an organization is they really do well to grow the activity within young members at that age and give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
Much like drum corps from the 50s and 60s, where you could walk in as a 7th and 8-year-old, 7, 8, 10-year-old kid and like, hey, my dad's here. And so, okay, here, boy, here's a horn, and really take in some of those younger members, teach them some tradition, teach them some of those things. So I always love seeing what Blue Devils BNC. I have no idea how to pronounce
Lethologica.
Sure. Sounds great.
Like lethargy. First of all, rep by Fred Sturm, Depeche Mode, and Lynyrd Skynyrd.
I love it. Listen,
and more.
There's more.
What more could you have?
We all know. I mean, if you're not my age, you probably don't know who Depeche Mode is.
Yeah,
I
know.
Big 90s band.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Aren't they the Just Can't Get Enough? Isn't that them? Is that Depeche Mode? I'm pretty sure it's Depeche Mode.
Maybe it might be. Yeah, but anyway,
tell us
Depeche Mode's one hit.
I'm pretty sure that's one of their songs because it was on Tiago's vacation playlist when we went to Alaska, and I downloaded it, so it was the only music we had because we'd go for long, 4-hour stretches in the car where there's no signal,
right?
And so we just like play that, and that song came on a couple of times.
Nice.
But so it looks like another sort of heady kind of one. I like this sort of ransom note like cutout.
Yeah, it looks very
inspiration.
Yeah, honestly, it feels very like late 80s, early 90s kind of feel. Like there was that, if if you're my age and you grew up in that era, there was all those like flying like weird talking graphics and like very like like I said, late 80s, early 90s type feel.
Yeah.
So
all right, let's talk about the real show
here's
of
what
the
I
hour.
want to say. Why is a world-class organization, a top 6 core, not doing this show? That's why I want to know.
Blue Devil Sea is doing Back in Time, a 100% Back to the Future show.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I freaking love it.
And the rep, Back to the Future Overture by Alan Silvestri, straight from the movies.
From the movie, right?
Overture by The Who.
Great tune.
2 different Huey Lewis and the News songs. And then As Time Goes by Herman Hupfeld.
Listen, Huey Lewis and the News is one of my favorite bands, right? And
you like Huey Lewis and the News?
I love Huey Lewis, right? And a fun fact about them, if you watch the movie Back to the Future, there's a scene where Marty's in there and he's like auditioning to be the band at the prom.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Hey, you gotta stop it! You're just too damn loud." That's actually Huey Lewis and the News. That's
really?
the band sitting
so
there
funny.
telling them that their rock song is too loud for them, which is hilarious, right? So, yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Look, it starts with strap in for a high octane adventure.
I love it.
I promise you, I will watch the show and we will review the show at the end of the season.
Oh, we should definitely do a react to it.
100%. We will
easy.
review the show. This is everything. This is my childhood.
It's always super fun to watch Blue Devil Sea in general, and it's such a familiar piece.
Yeah. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
So
all right, Colombians. Almost no information about this one. Their show title is called Bloom. It is clearly about a flower. So I'm guessing it's Garden of Love.
Yeah,
but Colombians.
But Colombians, yeah, but the Colombians, right?
Yeah.
Who is one of the very few out of country drum corps that come in because they're from Colombia.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's why they're called the Colombians. So it's super cool to see that they're
a little bit of a brighter, probably.
Yeah,
maybe funky,
happy, maybe
psychedelic, maybe. I guess a little more like happier, upbeat sort of.
It seems like by the graphic, because we have one graphic to look at.
Yeah.
Which I have an inside connection to the Colombians too.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just reach out and ask. Go, hey, what's going on with this? Send me some info. I'll promote you.
Gold is doing the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Interesting.
Rep has not been announced, but I'm guessing it's a lot of Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Can't imagine they wouldn't have any Sweeney Todd.
Into darkness.
And there's some great. Excuse me for mentioning them, but Blue Devils 2015, their opening hit slaps. It's Sweeney Todd, right?
Yeah.
And so, if Gold wants to do that, I'd be down.
Yeah, listen,
another dark show.
And I love, and Gold's been what they've been in, like, they're in the upper part of the open
they're
class.
Usually doing pretty
like
solid
3-4, like in that area, somewhere around there. So they have good shows, much like the Battalion and Spartans, and like they end up with pretty good shows every year.
Yeah.
So,
Rising Heat.
Wait.
Heat Wave with Rising Heat. Unknown.
Listen,
more Lynyrd Skynyrd and Limp Bizkit.
Listen,
Fred Durst himself.
Yes.
So watch out on the field this year for Britney Spears and Fred Durst because they're both going to be there.
They're both good. Listen, that red cap. I hope they come out with red hats.
backwards red caps.
It would be amazing. Listen, I told you in 22 I missed half a practice because I was too hungover to come back because I was at a Limp Bizkit concert.
It's the most Mike Lark story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I was like,
and it was the best. Yeah. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my entire life. It was incredible.
We played all of it's just one of those days. What is that song called? Break Stuff?
Yeah.
We listened to all of Break Stuff before rehearsal because Jack and Lydia will, our visual team will just play.
Right,
We'll just play music, the last like 10 minutes before rehearsal starts, and they just played through all of Break Stuff. And we were like,
I'm like, guys, are you trying to get me going today? Because I'm going to start swinging hands and get in this pit and get going. Yeah. It was, listen, I'm never afraid to talk about my lineage of the 90s and how bad the music was.
Yeah. I just also great, cool show concept. I love the idea of like a garage rock style show.
Yeah. And listen, I love the fact that they took the sun. That thing was tattooed on every ripped dude's abdominal and their belly button area all through the 90s. I'm pretty sure Oh, have you ever seen the movie Triple X?
Oh, no, isn't it with Vin Diesel?
Is when Vin Diesel, he has that tattoo right in the middle of his belly because everybody had that thing.
It was so in.
Yeah, it was the in thing to do. Listen, if you were dating somebody with a lower back tattoo at the time, you definitely had that on the front half.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was matching. It's how you knew.
So good on you, Heatwave. For
I'm excited. I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, a few more with some minimal information. Impulse with the show Look Up, an exclamation point at the end. Not much information, but I mean, seems like a very Impulse style show. Like, got their exclamation point in there.
Did you see the movie
Don't Look Up?
Yeah,
I have not seen. You think it's like a sequel response to that movie?
It would be weird if it was, because it's a very, very satire heavy. Like,
I've heard.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a pretty. You watch it and you go, yeah, that would probably be happening
Ah,
right now.
damn, too real.
It's too real. It's like too conceptually real. But it would be neat if they did something like that. Like, oh, the world's coming to an end and nobody cares.
Yeah, I'm curious what it will actually be. It feels very like, I don't. The graphic even itself is so minimal. This is truly, I think, the least amount of information we have out of all of these.
I don't know. Like, so yeah, wild speculation. It's gonna be an incredible show. From the movie, The Incredibles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
that's what again. The first thing I thought of was like,
Yep,
got it. Okay.
All right. Raiders doing a Time is Timeless show. Oh, and I saw that title and I wonder if they're playing Time in a Bottle, and they are.
Oh, they are.
Right. Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce.
Yep.
Ebb and Flow, original music apparently. Although I will say this is a little serendipitous. I've recently stumbled upon a song called Ebb and Flow, and it kicks ass.
Ebb and Flow. I thought that was E-double-B flat.
B flat. Yeah,
Flow.
Perfect. D and Flow.
D and Flow.
And Time by Pink Floyd.
Another Pink Floyd
Sweet.
tune. Coldplay.
Always get ready to see what the Quakers are doing.
Clocks, that makes sense.
You know?
I think this is going to be a show. It's a what do they call it? Soap opera show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It does seem like a sort of All My Children style.
Yeah, it's this time or Days of Our Lives. That was the hourglass thing that would be on there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's from Days of Our Lives.
That'd be
I'm pretty
great.
sure that's what it is.
All right.
If I remember
Moving
Grandma.
on, Spartans, who I think they're defending
champions,
open class champions, right?
Yeah.
So
we have
I'll
a
definitely
previous
look out.
core member marching there this year.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. I always forget. That's so awesome.
Yeah. She's doing good stuff
the show's Mystica. Some cool looking. Wow, yeah. Some cool looking Annie
Lady
Lennox
in the Water.
some James Newton Howard, a little bit of Philip Glass.
Yeah, these are all good noticeable tunes.
Ooh, Spanish word mystica refers to mysticism or the spiritual transcendent experience. Seems like they're doing almost like a fantastical realism.
Yeah,
Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
This feels like the only show in open class that has that very like high concept. Kind of like
it's kind of them and Blue Devils Bees, kind of. The only ones.
Oh, that's true. Blue Devils Bees.
Yeah,
so, yeah. So they kind of
I can
fit in
dig
that
on it though.
But there's also that's not everybody. There's a ton of cores out there that haven't announced what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yet.
There's so many open class cores, and that was only like
I'll
10 of them.
Exactly
right?
which ones I haven't announced it yet.
Oh yeah, because you're using Quaid.
I have a different
okay,
list here.
nice.
Colt Cadets. Gold did Empire Gold. Les Senators, Memphis Blues, Rhythm City, the Battalion, which are second, third place core, and Zephyrus. They still haven't announced any of the things that they're doing.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on probably a full third.
Hercs are the other core.
Yeah, the only other all-age core cast that we don't know anything about yet.
Exactly.
One of the others.
Which I love a good Herc show.
Yeah.
Big fan. So, all right.
Let's get to the real meat of it now. World class.
The ones we know the least about because
everyone's got to hold it close to the chest.
We don't want to let anything special. Except for the tried and true troopers who dropped their show announcement the day after finals last year.
Maybe the earliest show announcement in drum corps history.
Ever.
Proportional.
100% ever. It was less than 24 hours, and
it was crazy.
It was like noon the next day.
Yeah, right. They were like, wild. By the way.
Yeah. And we've said this before on the show many, many times. Drum corps, please keep doing that. Why not?
Why would you not want people excited about your show theme?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Like, I do get the idea of it. It does get stale, right? I think that there is a certain amount of time that you can be excited about something. Right?
Yeah.
And then it fades.
Yeah, right. I don't think it would probably not be the right choice if all the drum corps announced all their shows right away in the fall, and then you were like,
yeah, right. And then by the time the show season comes, you're like, yeah, I know what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Okay, got it.
But it makes sense. It makes sense to space it out. But like more we need to space it out. We need to have a bunch of announcements very soon after, like right when camps start, right? A bunch of them in like early year, right? February or March to keep stuff excited as they're, they've gotten through a few camps, they got some of the music out, they got an idea of what the show's going to be more. And then obviously the ones that, wait more towards the summer.
Right. I don't know. I feel both ways about it. I was so excited when Troopers came out, and I was like, yes, they're doing the trilogy. They're doing that.
Yeah,
it makes so much sense. And we'll, here's what I really know if the Troopers are like that. If they do it again this year. Because we know that they're not extending the storyline.
Yeah, it's going to be a different. I'm curious to see what the approach is going to be.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if this year I hope they
pick
hold on
another
to it for
theme.
a little longer.
I hope they pick another theme and do another trilogy.
Yeah, or duology, or even something, right?
Even
some
back to back.
Yeah, just a notice like we're going to play in this space for a little while.
Listen, every drum corps in history has always historically done well with those types of shows. When you look at like 95, 96, Madison Scouts are two of the best shows out there. Drum Corps Fans Dream and Drum Corps Fans Dream Part Dos. Great shows.
Yeah, famously did not work for the cadets in 2005 and 2006.
Yeah. But honestly,
the exception that proves the rule, I'm sure.
First place in what they get? 5th? 4th?
Yeah.
It's not like they did bad. They weren't doing.
But also, so many corps have unofficially done that, right? Yeah, Blue Coats, right? Tilt and Kinetic Noise were very similarly themed shows.
The Blue Coats. The Beatles show.
Yeah.
The second, if COVID had not happened, they were doing that.
Yeah,
show
right.
Anyway.
They were going to be like, let's just keep doing the Beatles show.
Yeah,
right.
They were going to do a secondary show to it.
And even like before that, like I do feel like Session 44 had a similar. It was like a transitionary.
Yeah.
Right, but 16, 17 felt very similar to each other because they were like, let's do something new, but then explore that space for a little bit. And then when that gets a little stale, we do something new and explore that space for a little bit. That's what they did. 22 and 23 were both very similar vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of like funky.
Yeah. I'm okay
psychedelic shows.
I'm okay staying in a vibe. I want a straight up sequel, like
damn
near same uniform.
That's a rarer thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
do.
the Troopers have done that the last 3 years now. This will be the only trilogy that I know of where they're basically telling a story over 3 years.
Yeah,
super neat. It's
awesome.
Really
yeah,
cool idea.
I mean, like, it's weird to say that it's a new concept in drum corps because it's one of the oldest concepts in storytelling. I mean, how many book series are there? There are trilogies.
Right, exactly.
All of them.
How many movie series are there trilogies in the last 25 years?
Yeah, right.
Huge.
Like, of course, like it's surprising we haven't had someone go, hey, if we do shows that are storylines sometimes, why wouldn't we?
Why don't we carry a character?
I'm sure a lot of times it's because maybe understandably the creative minds behind it are a little afraid of being locked in to an idea for too many years. Because also like what happens if you plan for a trilogy and you do 1 or 2 years, then kind of sucks. It's not good.
Then you could just get rid of it.
You can always just pull the ripcord. But also you don't want to. As much as creators always tell you to kill your darlings, you never want to like plan for 3 years.
But here's the thing: like if you really design a show like that, and then you lead the fans to believe that the fans are going to love it, and then as a creator,
they're going to buy in.
I believe as a creator, as a creative, it is my responsibility as a creative person to give the people what they want, right? Like, because why not? Look, and there's a reason why all the Marvel movies do so well. Right, they're not really great movies, right?
Especially not anymore.
Yeah, right. But you just give the people what they want. Like Deadpool was a great example of that. Deadpool was exactly what you wanted it to be.
It's what everyone who liked Deadpool wanted. Yeah.
Here you go. We'll just give it to you, and everybody like passed on it for years and years and years, and you're like, nobody's going to watch this. And then you finally gave the people what they wanted.
It's like one of the highest grossing R-rated movies of all time.
Successful, crazy, so much that they made all these other movies R-rated. So like, I hate when people go like, oh no, calm down, like you'll be okay,
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's talk about some of the other shows.
There's not too many shows to talk about because not that much.
Not
stuff
too many,
out there. But
so we've got the Academy doing, may I say, a very Academy like coded show.
Yeah.
London Fog.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Again, like very. I always like when Academy does like very like. Slightly cheesy, right? Just a little bit. I mean, Drum Corps Pride was pretty cheesy, but it was so good.
It's so good. It's one of those classic show. Everybody knows that show.
And like, I don't know how to word it other than like fancy adjacent visuals.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because that was their thing for a while, I mean, they would have
the suits.
Yeah, right. I think that's what they've been doing in recent years too, right? They've had uniforms. Yeah, because they stepped away from it in 2019, and I like that show, but I know it didn't do very well. The Bridge.
Oh yeah.
And they come back to it a little bit. Again, another cool thing that gives them a strong visual identity.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be neat. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know most of these. I know Michael Giacchino. He's awesome.
Yep.
But
Local boy. He's from Philadelphia area.
I like how is he?
Yeah, Michael Giacchino. Yeah.
Nice. I like the program information. The program information gives us almost no information. It's just like, hey, musical excerpts are from this, but that's all they got, right?
Yeah. Which was normal for the world class right now. They're
Exactly.
Not giving us anything. So,
Right, but I'm excited to see what that's about.
Yeah, alphabetically,
Cool.
I'm on a different list than you. The Blue Devils are next. So the Blue Devils.
So Blue Devils is one that's not on here because they haven't technically made a show announcement, but
They have a
they have
graphic.
definitely hinted.
They have a graphic.
There's been graphic. Let the wild speculation commence.
Yes,
They've
go.
given some graphics
Let's go.
like crowds.
I
Almost,
think.
right?
I think. Have you
I'm gonna
seen?
bring up the Facebook page
Have you
right
seen
now.
the 1990 classic Multiplicity with Michael Keaton?
Ooh, no, I
Where
know that.
he makes a
know of it,
photocopy
though.
of himself, and then those photocopies make photocopies of themselves.
Ooh,
Great.
Is it a multiplicity show?
It's a multiplicity show. There's no music in it whatsoever.
Ooh.
But I think it's this is my concept idea, right? Is that it is a show about the varying types of people within a crowd, right? So you have, like when you're passing people on the street, when you're passing people on the street, kind of feel like, what does that person do? Who is that person really behind?
This is so funny. So I don't know if you knew this, but I don't do it as much anymore. But I used to arrange drum corps pieces for fun.
Yeah.
And do design some shows. And I literally designed a show in like my like junior or senior year of college.
Okay.
Or no, maybe even sophomore year. Either way, in college. It was, first of all, I like to tend to pick like, I think this, try to design a show that the Blue Coats would do or that the Blue Devils would do or whatnot
okay,
to
sure.
like lend inspiration to pieces that you would pick and the kind of instrument voicing you would pick. And I literally did a show about that concept with the idea of it being played by a Blue Devils horn line.
Oh,
So like
okay.
big screamer notes and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's a concept called Sonder,
Okay.
Sonder. And it's
Where-
literally
where-
like,
Is that the idea of like walking by somebody?
yeah, like
and it's
the realization that everyone that you pass has a life as fully involved and complex as yours, despite you only seeing them as like a
Right.
passing NPC
Right.
almost.
Yeah. So that's what, like, when I saw the graphic, that was the first thing that kind of came to my mind, because that screams Blue Devils to me.
That's a very Blue Devils-ish
yeah.
kind of show.
Right. And so I'm curious. I mean,
It'd be cool enough for them to do. That would definitely.
it'd be interesting, right? I think their uniforms are going to be blue and white.
Yeah,
I don't think
which is
they're going
good.
to be any dark in their uniforms. I
Yeah,
think they're going to go very light.
I'm
for
sure.
the
Yeah,
Blue
they'll
Devils.
probably go. I mean, that's the. I'm
The
looking at
graphic is
number with the-
very blue and whitish already, right?
Yeah, I like it though. I like the sort of color scheme again.
Yeah.
Blue for the Blue Devils.
Obviously.
Right, but
Wait a minute, the Blue Devils are going to wear blue again this year?
Yeah.
Crazy. The year that they come out in anything other than blue,
they're gonna get 10th place.
people will lose their shit. Like, I thought people were going to lose their mind last year when the Blue Coats came out.
Well, people have already settled in just being mad at the Blue Coats not having blue or coats.
But I think they were really happy with them last year. I think the uniform was very well received. I did not think it was going to be when I first saw it, but I thought it was really well received last
Well,
year.
it's one of those uniforms that like you see it and you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then you see it in motion, and you're like, oh,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a very well designed
I get it.
uniform.
It works perfectly with
Yes.
the rest of the show
Correct.
theming.
Yeah, it's a very well produced show or produced thing.
And it was also cool because they kind of chose a color scheme that I don't think I've, in recent memory at least, I've ever seen
The white
on
and
football.
red.
Yeah, like white, red, and yellow,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
bright
yeah, it was
primary
very-
colors. Like
Yeah, it was very, very.
last time I
just
can think
kind
of that is like Jersey Surf in like 2018 or
Yeah, when
something.
they did like the Happy Show or whatever. it was.
Mondo Mandalorian or whatever it
Okay.
is. Sure about
The
that one.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. The show about that one artist that painted the big colors and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm excited to see. Speaking of the Blue Coats,
Okay.
well,
Well,
once again,
we're skipping over the Blue Knights, but that's because there's literally nothing about.
there's
the Blue
literally nothing
Knights
about the
right
Blue Knights.
now.
Yeah,
Right. So I don't want to skip over your core for you, but
yeah. Maybe
When
we'll
they-
make finals this year.
maybe we'll see.
I'm rooting
I
for
hope
you
so.
guys. I'm
Yeah,
rooting for
yeah.
you guys.
Let's go Blue Knights.
I think it. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
They're gonna take a bad direction.
and
I
Blue-
thought.
and
I
Blue
thought they.
Stars.
Yeah, I thought they did better last year. I know they competitively
Their
did not do.
uniform was cool as shit last year.
Their uniform was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought they moved and played better than the previous year. I think Unharnessed, it made finals and Busk didn't, but I think they moved. They were struggling.
I
with
feel
their
like
movement.
Busk was a much better show.
Yeah, crazy,
yeah.
right? I think it was performed better. I think it was cleaner.
Here's the thing, though. Last year was a top tier year for all drum corps.
It's just it's a testament to how competitively strong everyone was last year.
Absolutely.
That Blue Knights got like 15th or something, or 14th.
14th or 15th.
And they made finals the previous year with a, I think, much weaker show.
Correct. I agree with that too. So anyway, Stars and Knights. There's nothing really out there for them.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll see. Now we're into Blue Coats.
Blue Coats. Okay. No show announcement, but we do have rep. A lot of interesting choices. Sunlux
Again,
which obviously, I mean, they're the resident like artist on call, so probably
I know that they
through
had
this year and maybe even next year they're gonna have some Sunlux.
Knowing some people in the organization, I believe, and I remember hearing this last year. I think they have a 2-year contract with them. To produce two songs for them, right?
I'm not surprised, because they've got original new music by Sunlux.
Yes, and I think it's another original piece this year. So now next year, probably not, because the Blue Coats. DC. Listen, it's funny. I was talking to somebody and we were talking about it, and he's like, we'll see if DCI lets us do the same show or the same repertoire with the same music person 2 years in a row. He's like, because unless you're the Blue Devils, nobody can do that.
Yeah.
So because you get penalized for being the same 2 years in a row. So
I'm curious to see. So if you'll allow me, I have some wild speculation about this.
Okay, tell me.
Right. So first of all, let's talk about what we've got. We do not have a show announcement, but we have had very strongly visually themed
shows,
promotional footage and photos.
Okay.
We just saw one that they posted like literally an hour before we started filming this.
Right.
That had some very particular weird like colors, like a sort of blue purplish like swirling kind of visual thing. Which probably gives us a hint. In the same way that they posted like the falling red blocks. Last year. To give like an idea of randomness and entropy and the hint of the red blocks. So I'm sure when the color scheme comes out, it will be a similar like purple. I mean, you can literally see it like in the. I can't see right, but if you look at the show theme, right, at the graphic,
showing the people
right, it will probably be that color scheme. My speculation, I think it's a spiritual successor to Kinetic Noise.
Oh,
maybe that's Cope because I just want more kinetic noise. But first off, 10-year anniversary.
Interesting.
Last year felt it was not tilt, but it felt very downside up in terms of the visual theming. I mean, literally almost the exact same like vinyl red color on the props that they had on the slides, right? But it felt very like, let's just go back to a cool, high energy prop based, movement.
Right,
and it's 10-year anniversary, and a bunch of their promotional photos have like blurred like motion like lines on them. So I'm like,
interesting.
Kinetic Noise sequel.
I was thinking more of a light and breezy kind of feel because everything is very like it almost the promotional material kind of looks like smoky, like it's like a blown out kind of like wind.
Maybe it's about like
kind of thing like that.
It's a vaporwave show.
Yeah,
they are doing an M83 song.
Yeah.
Oh, so the other reason I think my Shot in the Dark Kinetic Noise sequel holds water is they are doing a Steve Reich piece.
Is that
Steve Reich was like the he was an artist they used for a lot of the whole opener for 2015.
Okay.
The bum 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 bum.
Cool.
That was a Steve Reich piece.
Gotcha.
I think it's like point counterpoint or something like that.
That sounds right. That sounds familiar anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what it sounds like.
Saying you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Kinetic Noise sequel.
Kinetic Noise sequel.
Sorry.
Love that. Boston.
Nothing from Boston, right?
I saw a couple of promotional things from Boston, but nothing definitive.
There are predicted winners for this year from both of us.
I know. I'm very curious. Very curious to see what they do. They're already moved in. Everybody's moved in. Well, pretty much everybody's moved. All the big boys.
I know who hasn't been moved in by now.
Yeah, so we'll see. Nothing really out there. Same thing with Crown. Nothing really out there.
Yeah, right.
Going on with Crown. Well, nothing going on show wise with Crown right now. But
nothing from them.
Cavaliers. Here's what I will say. So I wanted to take time because when we did our previous predictions episode, we really put Cavaliers pretty far down. Okay. I feel like and maybe this is just because I was kind of focused on it a little bit, I feel like the most movement in staff, administration,
behind the scenes stuff,
and as an organization from a top 6, top 12 core, it's the most I've ever seen ever. I'm pretty sure
like Boston in like 2018 or 2017.
That
was a pretty big one.
But that was more brass moving because
it was
the color guard
too.
Was it? Because I thought the color guard stayed there.
No, color came over from Crown. That's why Boston's color guard started doing so well. In 2018. But yeah, a lot. So either way,
the cadets horn staff,
pretty monumental.
Cadets horn staff,
really
went to Cavaliers.
Oh,
right.
Maybe they'll sound good this year.
Yeah, right. Let's hope, right?
Because cadets 23 sounded awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Great horn line sound.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they're a bulk of their people went over there. They brought back some of their older Rangers from the early 2000s. They have some newer people. So it's either going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a healing year for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, a little bit of growth here.
Growth, but healing. You're going to see some version of the quality that we're used to seeing from the Cavaliers.
And I'm sure it will be some kind of show about what it means to be a man and to heal as a man or something.
Who knows? Because that's kind of what
we
they
get
do.
it. You're an all-male core. You don't have to make every show about it.
Yeah. Somebody said in the comments in one of our shows recently, I think it was a prediction show. Somebody it just said it the other day on one of the predictions or on the episode was if the Cavaliers fall out of 12th place.
Yeah, they fall out of finals.
Which we have predicted. Do they open up and become an all female male core?
I feel like they wouldn't, honestly. I feel like if they didn't do it when scouts did it, it's like
they
it's
weren't
such
losing. The scouts hadn't been in finals in years, right? I think it would take several years before the Cavaliers go, okay, it's time.
It would take a while. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, they're not hurting for membership. They're still fielding full.
Yeah,
horn
and
lines.
again, as
I don't think anything to do with where they are right now in a position has anything to do with the members and everything to do with the design right now.
Yeah.
Their
And
designs have not been great.
I also think just like knowing what I know about the Cavaliers, their show themes are always, in the past few years has been centered around the fact that they're an all-male core.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've heard about the culture of the Cavaliers, it's very like dudes.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that if you had asked me back when Madison Scouts was still all male, which one of them was going to go all co at first, I think it'd be an easy pick. Obviously Scouts would go.
Yeah.
Because Cavaliers has so much of their identity wrapped up in the manliness.
Yeah. So interesting. I'm curious to see.
I'm very curious to see how they work.
Colts? I'm very, very curious to see their shows here.
I want to see how they do.
The last 3 years, I've been really, really happy. So we have somebody who marches with us now that was in the Colts 2 years ago. They did the 21. They did the Silk Road show.
Awesome. Great guy, Matt Roos.
Yeah, Matt Roos. And he says the culture there is pretty good. It's really great. And I said that, and I like.
They've definitely been one of those cores that's like slowly growing and growing and growing and growing.
And it's all, I think it's all about culture. I think it's all about the way they're taking care of their people. So
you got great culture and educational team over there, from what I can tell.
Yeah, and from what we've heard, so that's great for them. Crossman, they have a show.
Crosswalking, which I love. Another play on words of the title of the core.
Of course, love it. Which I love that. I love that as a theme concept.
Yeah,
right.
And another feels kind of similar to what they've been doing, where they almost like return to roots and kind of like a jazzy
show. Yeah.
Kind of feel, right? I mean, they've got Charles Mingus, right? Dave Brubeck. They got the Funky Knuckles, which is fun, and some on the note of not jazz, some Rachmaninoff. Okay, which is cool. Symphony No. 2. A bunch of other stuff too. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really. It's because Crossman is so close to us here. It was,
and we've had so many. We have so many friends that have marched in Crossman.
Yeah,
including Grace, who's there right now. Right.
Yeah, I really feel like they're always like a little bit of a home core for me. Yeah. And I want them to do well. So I wish them all the luck this year. I hope it's a cool show. Shows like this are super hit or miss. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I hope it's a great one. I hope they do well with it. I hope the core comes out hungry and gets on it.
Yeah, and importantly, what's going to help them?
A
little bit of headway.
Listen, I think that the Crossman media team is doing a fantastic job down there this year promoting the core because, yes, the hat thing, it's what did I just say a few minutes ago? Give the freaking people what they want.
Give people what they want. Why would you not?
Why? But yeah, give him a hat, man.
Yeah, I remember watching Bucks shows and seeing the Aussie, and when I put it on the first time, you feel cool.
Yes, you feel
it
like
feels awesome.
I feel like a Buccaneer. Caballeros have their hats, man. When they when you put
and
them on,
great.
It like
and it never detracts from the show theme.
I felt like a Caballero every single time I put it on. Absolutely, like it's just a hat is a great core identity piece, which they're coming back, and I really love that.
Yeah, I'm glad they're coming back in style.
So moving on, Genesis.
Kaleidoscope Heart.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vibe looks cool.
Sarah Bareilles, Roger and Hammerstein, Chappell Roan, Ariana Grande, and
a lot of pop music.
Bacchus. Yeah, like pop and like show tunes.
Yeah. So
I'm excited to see.
looking at the graphic kind of feels a little bit like that.
Because it's going to be upbeat.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I think hopefully will be a fun show.
Yep.
All right. Anyone else between Genesis and
Madison Scouts?
Madison Scouts.
Yep.
The nature of being. I don't know. Oh my God! Hold on.
What?
They're also doing Buccaneers by the Swingle. Wait, no, this one says Bulgarian folk. So I wonder if they're doing not the Swingles version. I think the Swingles version is like it's a traditional Bulgarian folk song.
Right.
The Swingles have a
pop song.
Yeah,
like a
sort of like
an
updated sort of version of it. So I wonder if they're doing the traditional one.
They put those things on there, and a lot of times they use like 2 seconds of it. Because they have to put it on there because they have to get the rights to it, so they have.
Yeah, but it'll be like more like atmosphere building,
right? Exactly. So who knows what part of it is going to be used, right? So
yeah, but also Pyramid Song by Radiohead, and it's our other Toxic Britney Spears song.
Another Britney Spears
song. So
I
don't know how Britney is going to split her time between 2 different cores during the summer, but
well,
I'm
listen,
sure she'll be able to make it work.
She's well off. She travels.
Yeah, she'll use her jet.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
She got some of that money back that her parents stole from her.
Yeah,
all throughout her life.
So sad.
Yeah.
JT's going to help her out, and then So okay, so
I'm excited for that. We're both of us were very excited for the Madison Scouts show.
Their return. I hope they stay in finals. I hope they do well. I hope the design is
such a fun show last year.
I hope that the show last year draws in good members this year, right? Because that's really what you need.
Yeah. So I think it might be like a biology themed show.
Yeah,
looking
maybe.
at the graphics, it looks like agar sort of growth, and there's a person in there.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to know. All right,
who knows? It's a plan. Mandarins.
Mandarins, nothing from Mandarins yet.
Other than
our boy Ryan is in there. We've got a man on the inside.
Yeah, we do have a man on the inside. Actually,
although I wonder, I feel like he's got to have a Tom Holland situation where they're like, we can't tell Ryan anything because he will accidentally leak it on Twitch or something like that.
I'm not saying I haven't heard some of the stuff, but I'm not saying I haven't heard. Yeah. But now he's been pretty tight-lipped about it, actually. And,
which is good.
But there's a graphic out there, right? And it's funny. I was talking to Gannon, who's one of the members in our Mellophone section. If you go take a look at their things, I thought it was going to be like the first thing I thought of, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh, they're doing a Game of Thrones like ice kind of thing. Where's it at on there? I'm looking. But it's like this very like bluish. It's like a slate blue graphic.
They haven't posted. I'm looking at the symbol line page. What the heck?
Here, why didn't they haven't updated that? There it is. Yeah.
Ooh.
No, not that.
Oh.
No, not that. That one. Yeah. It's like this slate blue kind of thing. And then I was talking to Gannon about it. He's like,
they've got inanimate carbon rods in the background.
Yeah, he's like, they're doing a metal pipe show.
Yes, this metal pipe sound effect 5 different times throughout the show.
It made me think of that stupid video that I sent you the one time. You're like, I'm waiting for this thing to end.
Metal pipe in 10 different languages.
I hope
variations on a metal pipe falling.
Yeah, I hope it's just metal pipes just falling on the ground. But I didn't realize they were metal pipes because I thought they were just like spready graphics to kind of make it look exciting in the background. Then he pointed it out to me, and I was like, oh, they are metal pipes. I was like, there's no way they're just metal pipes. And he's like, yeah, they're metal pipes. And I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe all like scaffolding on the field or something.
Yeah, well, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Sorry, prop crew.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Music City.
It Tolls for Thee. Clock show.
Oh, cool.
Seems cool. I mean, It Tolls for Thee also another
clocks by
kind of dark.
Do they have their thing up there?
I'm not seeing any rep on.
I bet you they're
going
to do clocks by what's that pop band? Oh my god. They're older now.
To be specific.
Yeah.
ABBA?
It was ABBA. It was in the 2000s.
I don't know the song.
I can't remember. It'll come to me in a fever dream later.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, clocks.
Yeah.
Another one, cool idea. I always I feel like
it was
a few years ago, Music City was one of those like cores to watch that was sort of up and coming, and
I
they
still think-
wavered a little bit, but I think
Yeah.
they've still maintained, right? They haven't
Yeah, yeah.
dropped a bunch. I'd be curious to see them
I
start to
got
climb
a
a little
friend who
bit.
drives truck for them.
Yeah?
Yeah. He goes back there every year and drives truck. He's an
Heck
old
yeah,
buck.
that's
He's an
cool.
old Buccaneer.
It seems like another kind of dark show, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of death.
It feels
themed.
very more like like a Tim Burton-y kind of feel.
Yeah, Tim Burton. It almost feels like
a dark
Christmas
comedy.
Carol, Ghost of Christmas Future, kind of like
yeah,
a
yeah,
dark,
yeah.
like
a Caroline
spirit coming to you to show you.
like a Caroline kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Pacific Crest, nothing out there yet.
Nothing yet, but they've been doing pretty well. So
Yeah.
I think we predicted they might break into
12.
finals.
Yeah, my
We
prediction was
predicted
12.
they might break into finals.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just have to see if that holds true.
Then Phantom is in there. Still nothing.
We have seen. I think I've seen some. Have I seen graphics from Phantom?
I'm sure there's something out there for them.
I feel like they've posted
No.
some graphics, and it feels another cool kind of just like color scheme.
Who did I talk to from Phantom recently? Or so I watched an interview or something from them, and it was very much they were like, it's the same but not the same. And I was like, no, I want the same thing that's been going on the last 2 years. I just want
Well, I don't know.
an absolute murderous horn
Yeah.
line.
Well,
with-
they still might give that. I mean, that part
hope
might
so.
still be the same. I
I
hope
hope
it
so.
is. I
I
don't
hope
think
they
they're gonna step off the gas with the horn line loudness.
I hope not. Hope not.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be like.
It's been their thing.
I mean, they had their show in 23, and the sequel show, which felt very familiar, very similar,
Yes.
but also an evolution.
Yep.
And and we just talked about how Bluecoats did it, right? They did Tilt, and then they like did a sort of evolution on that idea, and they did something that was like felt similar. I mean, people, when Downside Up came out, they were like, "Oh, it's just a threequel to Tilt."
Yeah, yeah.
And now, in retrospect, is viewed very
It's
differently.
Yeah, correct.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it's that same sort of thing, right? Where it's they have their 23 show and then 24, and then
Yeah.
they continue on that path, but sort of take an extra step in an
I
unexpected
hope so.
direction.
They've been doing some really good piece choices and everything else, so it's going to be good. Santa Clara is up after them. I hope they come out with no props again.
I would love it.
I love it. I love it. Let's
To
when
prove they
come out
can
and
do it.
flex. Just flex. Like we're
Yeah.
just that good. You know, we don't
Do
need
it without
props.
props.
You need to start recognizing
Props
our
are a
no prop
crutch.
shows.
Yeah.
They really are a crutch.
So
I'm looking forward to seeing Phantom or Santa Clara because this is their sophomore year after coming back, right? So it is very much because the first year you come back after an off year, everybody's coming out of the woodwork to come back.
all eyes on you. Yeah.
Well, it's just
And-
you have members that are like in their vet year. So you have a lot of kids that are aging out. They're like, I'm coming back. I went someplace else for 22 or 23. I came back for 24. So you had a very powerful group of people. Are they going to sustain that going into next year?
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see what they do. Seattle Cascade. Is that what you have next?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sal
All right.
Cascades. Primary. We just mentioned Mondo Mandalorian or
Yeah.
whatever it is. That this is just a sequel show to
Oh,
that.
oh, is it? Okay.
but by Cascades instead of Jersey Surf. I think
Okay.
they were like, all right, well, Jersey Surf is folding or doing Hypercore or something, so I guess we'll have to
So
step
is-
in
Yep.
and do a Primary Colors show.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
It was cool though. I mean,
Fibonacci sequence thing in there. And
oh,
is that what they're.
hold on. Yeah, the Golden Ratio is in there. They got a whole bunch of different music.
They have a ton of different music in
Interesting.
there, from what I remember.
And the program information makes me feel like I'm on peyote. You think of yourself as a citizen of our universe. I sure do. You think you belong to this world of shapes and colors. Out of this dust, you have created a personal image and have forgotten about the essence of your true origin. It sounds like a cult member is about to drug me. Right? Or like, the Supreme Master is about to Doctor Strange knock me out of my body
Right, and, just
and send me on a
floating back
religious
in
experience to the
ethereal
universe.
plane.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be real, I'm reading this for the first time. That is not the show theme I expected to see with that graphic accompaniment.
Right. Yeah.
Let's get weird with it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I struggle with shows like this because I want them to make finals, but this doesn't strike me as the kind of show that's gonna punch in. Right?
Probably not. It's
You
one of those. It's one of those things that, like, if you want to go weird, you really got to have like the design and execution chops to back it up, and it's hard to make people buy in.
Time after time, it has been proven, especially the last 15 years, that if you do not have a extremely easy and accessible show,
Yeah.
when you are a bottom 12 core, 12, 15, 18 core, you are not going to be in finals, right? When you have shows like the Crossman had, like the Valkyrie show, super accessible, very easy, right? When you have a drum course product, we just mentioned that.
Yeah.
Extremely accessible, very easy, crowd pleaser, right? If you don't have the Troopers the last 3 years, if you do not have very, very easily accessible shows that members can buy into, the crowd gets it because the GE is part of the package, right? Then it becomes very difficult to broach into those things, you know. And I think as much as cores like to be creative and do all these things too, I do think that you have, as a creative designer, you have two missions. Number one, give the fans what they want in some perspective, right, of who you are as a core. But number two, give the members the opportunity and the ability to have something that they can use to get into finals, right? Because if I'm going to go spend all that money, I want to know that I have a chance. Right?
Yeah,
I don't mind being in bottom 12 core.
Yeah,
I just want to know that I got a chance.
Right,
so
or at the very least, you know, you have a chance to buy in and to give people an entertaining summer.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah, the Mandarins did that big weird stick person show. No, it wasn't Mandarins. Spirit last year. They did that like big weird monster show, and their show wasn't. I don't think they even made. Did they make finals?
No,
I don't
they
think
didn't make finals.
They didn't make finals, but everybody talked about that show. Because it was really, really like different, and it was creative and it was interesting, but it was
still accessible.
It was
and
so
like, cool
on the nose because it was all these monsters, and like it was very easy to go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, I hope they come out. I hope Pat Kress comes out.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. Or no,
swinging
Cascades.
because I want to see him do great. Spirit of Atlanta. We were just talking about this. Spirit of Atlanta, right on the nose. Rocket. They're doing Rocket Man by Elton John. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah, they're doing some Strauss, some Eric Whitacre, some Thomas Newman, Kishibashi, Def Leppard.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but it's going to be like I don't know if you. I told
a cosmic collision of sound and soul.
If you haven't seen their little video that they put out, because it's been out for probably about a month or two, it is pretty wild. It's about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long, and it's really well done. It's very well produced. It's really well done. It has a very interesting flair to it. That is,
it makes me think of like 80s space metal album covers.
Yeah. It's really, really neat, right? And then for the last one that's on there, we've already talked about it a few times.
Yeah, we looped around, right? Troops, the first in and the last out.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go. We talk about them all the time, but it's because we, as a fan of drum corps, the Troopers have been just delivering everything you want as a fan for the last couple of years. Everything.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that is looking at the Troopers and going, yeah, like not even like, okay, some people can be like, well, the show's not clean. Okay, fine. Got it. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. You can't deny the GE and what the Corps is doing and how they are promoting themselves and doing all those things because they are the only Corps doing it and they're doing it so freaking well.
It's exactly what like Mandarins did in 23, where it's like, yeah, okay, it's not the cleanest show, but at a certain point you go, who cares? Yeah, it's clean enough.
It rolled. Yeah, exactly. Right? And it has characters that you can buy into. It has all these things too. So it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I know
the music looks pretty cool.
Yeah. The Big Sun's
Junkie
not coming
XL.
back.
Oh, it's not. They're finally.
No, they got rid of it.
It's not. Oh, I really wanted to see it rusted up and.
I was
just
hoping,
a real tetanus risk.
Maybe
you know?
somebody, is gaslighting me and telling me that so that we don't know, and then it magically appears. Maybe I would love that, but
awesome.
But I doubt it. So
probably
yeah. So that's
some
it.
Mahler. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm very excited to see.
There's some good music repertoire that I'm excited to hear this year.
Yeah, there's an exciting, very varied selection across the board.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So not as much wild speculation, but we couldn't get too off the rails. I mean, we've been going for a while here.
Yeah.
now.
Well, listen, I think if we only did one of the 3 circuits, we could probably go bonkers with some.
Well, you could probably go for 2 hours just on that. Yeah.
I'll talk about this crazy shit that I want to talk about all the time.
Yeah. But for right now, we've covered everything that we know of. Right. In the next few weeks, I'm sure we will get a flood of information.
Yeah.
About what's going on. Like we said at the start, by the end of a month from now, we're gonna have pretty much all the shows on the field.
They'll be out there.
Ready to view.
The first showing I think is June 27th. The first broadcast, flow marching broadcast. So I don't remember which one it is. It's the one in Ohio or it's the one in California, whichever one it is, whatever it is. But it's out there. So we are so close, and we're right there on the cusp. I'm very excited for it.
And we'll start doing some recap, stuff as the season gets in, talking about where the
we may even do some reacts to early shows.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Get
in there quick.
Just get in there quick and throw some shows out there. You can watch it for us. So,
yeah.
I think that's I think that's
Probably
it.
does it for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good. It's a good long
Good
episode.
little return to form. It was a little longer. We had to get out. We had so
Yeah.
much information.
Well,
to get
we
out.
haven't
It's
talked
pent
in a
up.
while. We haven't talked to you, the people out there,
Yeah,
in quite some
right?
time now. So it was time for us to get out there and bring it back.
Exactly.
Whether or
Give the
not
people what they
here's
want.
the thing, right? If you're still watching at this point, do Robbie and I? Well, Robbie looks fantastic in his mustache.
Thank you.
I look like a discount Burt Reynolds.
I think
and
you
I
look
don't
pretty
like
good
it.
with it. I don't know. I've gotten used to it now. I
Okay.
dig it. I think
Yeah,
it looks good.
My father had a mustache for his entire
You're just like your father.
It makes me feel like my dad. I come down the stairs sometimes, look in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, is that my
See,
dad?
it makes me feel like a dad. My dad never had a mustache.
Oh,
He would do the. It's funny. He would do the soul patch sometimes.
Oh yeah, nice. I love that.
Or like a
Very
goatee,
beatnik
like
kind of
you
feel
know,
to it.
yeah.
I love that.
But
yeah.
never just a mustache.
Yeah, I was enjoying the beard, but it was getting too much. It was too hot.
Yeah.
So we went down to mustaches, but we wanted to do a mustache.
A mustache episode. We mustache you a question about what the future DCI will look like.
Yeah, exactly. So leave us a comment in there. Do I keep the mustache? Do I not? Does Robbie keep it?
Shave?
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep some part of this. It just depends on whether or not I'll go back something. Yeah, I'm sure we'll read as Charlie Chaplin to most people passing on the street.
You have blonde hair. You'd be fine.
Yeah. Sure.
No.
Charlie Chaplin and his famous blonde hair. Yeah.
So let us know. Let us know what your predictions are. Let us know what you think is happening if you're watching the show in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Or if you watch this episode after all the shows came out and you're like, you guys were way wrong. Tell us we're idiots.
You want to tell us how spot on we are.
Yeah.
And how you can't believe how I called that Blue Coats is doing a Kinetic Noise sequel show.
Exactly. If that does turn out true. We made some wild speculations last year that were not even close to true.
Nowhere.
They were
nowhere
near
completely
each
off the mark.
They were completely off the mark. So anyway, so again, if you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe button. Go ahead, bang those things out, and come back and see us. We should be doing pretty regular episodes for the rest of the season.
Getting back into a regular season now.
Yeah.
School's ending and the drum course starting back up, and we got lots of stuff to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
And
We'll get back in the groove and let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what you want to talk about.
Exactly. As always, give us some show idea suggestions. You know,
absolutely. I'll throw it to you, buddy, so you can go ahead and send us
it's
off.
Been so long. Let's see if I still got it.
Warming up.
All right. It has been a great show. We hope you all enjoyed it. But until next time, off cycle.